The National Health Insurance Management Authority, NEMA, hereby informs the public that with effect from the 1st of January 2024, the buyback option will no longer be available. This means that newly registered NEMA members will not be able to simply pay for the previous 4 months as means of gaining immediate access to NEMA insured health services. Instead, they will be required to undergo a 4-month waiting period from date of registration, during which they're expected to make 4 consecutive monthly contributions for their NEMA accounts to be activated for use. Register and start contributing today. Don't wait until you fall sick. National Health Insurance, leaving no one behind.
NEMA Health Insurance. Protect your family.
Wow, that over there is a very nice Ford. Have you seen it?
Of course. I have been looking at it since we got here. My worry is how people manage such vehicles and where they buy genuine parts from.
I'm sure there's nowhere else apart from Shuma Auto Parts. They are the only supplier of genuine Ford and Mazda parts, which comes straight from the manufacturer. They have everything in stock for both latest and ordinary Mazda and Ford. They also stock service parts such as diesel filters, air con filters, diesel pumps, steering pumps, turbochargers, engine overhaul gaskets, suspension parts, and body parts. If they don't have parts you're looking for, they can order within 5 to 10 working days. To top it up, Shuma Auto Parts also supply Maxxis tires and CST tires.
Really? But where are they found?
They are found on Chandram Sonda Road, Cruiser Auto Workshop in Lusaka. Call on 0979 192057 and 0960 747235. Email shumaautoparts@gmail.com. Shuma Auto Parts for all your genuine vehicle parts.
The Happy World of 5FM Radio, your adult contemporary radio station in Zambia, connecting you to the newsmakers and events that make news in the global village.
Good evening. This is the 5FMA News at 18:30 with Judith Mwape. The headline. DEC arrests former president's driver and security personnel for trafficking cannabis. Zambia has enough maize stock to last the next harvest season. Guinea's military junta dissolves government and seals borders. And now the news in detail. The Drug Enforcement Commission, DEC, in Eastern Province has arrested former President Edgar Lungu's driver and security personnel, identified as Juvencio Matthews Piri, aged 53, for trafficking in 55.6 kg of loose cannabis. Mr. Juvencio was picked up in Lusaka's Chelston area by a combined team of officers from Eastern and Lusaka provinces that trailed him from Chipata, where he was ferrying the contraband meant to be supplied in Lusaka. He is believed to be working with other people who fled with him when he was first intercepted in the Eastern Province. DEC Public Relations Officer Mwenge Mulenga has disclosed that the suspect is in lawful police custody and has been charged with trafficking in psychotropic substances, contrary to the Narcotic and Psychotropic Substances Act No. 35 of 2021. Meanwhile, Mr. Mulenga has disclosed that the Commission in the Southern Province has also arrested and jointly charged 3 individuals for trafficking 29 boxes of 100 Mills bottles of Benylin with codeine, with a total quantity of 1,392 bottles. He said the trio that was en route to Lusaka from South Africa were intercepted at Kazungula one-stop border post. The commission in Mwanse district of Lopula province has also apprehended 4 people for illegal cultivation and trafficking of cannabis weighing over 300 kilograms. Mr. Mlenga said all suspects are in lawful police custody and will appear in court soon.
Former President Edgar Chagwa Lungu's driver and security personnel for trafficking in 55.6 kilograms of loose cannabis. Mr. Piri was arrested in Lusaka's Chelston area while transporting the contraband from Chipata to Lusaka. He is currently in lawful police custody and faces charges under Section 15 of the Narcotic and Psychotropic Substances Act number 35 of 2021.
Meanwhile, Mr. Mlenga said the Commission is pleased with its continued success in legal proceedings, exemplified by the recent conviction of the former Deputy Inspector General of Police, Charity Katanga.
Trafficking has no sanctuary in the country. The Commission is also pleased with its successful legal proceedings, exemplified by the recent conviction of the former Deputy Inspector General of Police, Ms. Charity Katanga, for possession of property believed to be proceeds of crime. This reinforces our dedication to conducting effective investigations in the fight against money laundering. Properly done investigations are essential in winning legal battles on money laundering, as it facilitates the presentation of crucial evidence for the prosecuting team.
Government has refuted assertions by the former president, Mr. Edgar Lungu, that civil servants are frustrated to the purported micromanaging of government functions from State House by President Hakainde Hichilema. Acting Minister of Information and Media, Brenda Tamba, has told the media that President Hichilema respects the autonomy and expertise of civil servants in their respective roles. Ms. Tamba explains that there is no policy or a directive from State House that mandates micromanagement of government functions, stating that there are established grievances handling procedures to address any concerns raised by civil servants.
Micromanaging or micromanagement of government functions from State House by His Excellency the President Hakainde Hichilema are unfounded and baseless, God forbid. President Hakainde Hichilema, our statesman, respects the autonomy and expertise of civil servants in their respective roles. They are the experts. There is no policy or indeed a directive from State House that mandates micromanaging of government.
Meanwhile, Ms. Tamba says the government has acknowledged proposals from some sections of society to declare the 2023-2024 farming season a national disaster owing to the dry spells being experienced in some parts of the country.
2024 farming season, in fact, consideration, I don't want to put it that way, I want to say whether there are considerations of declaring the 2023-2024 farming season a national disaster. Government acknowledges calls from some sections of society across the nation to declare the 2023-2024 farming season a national disaster owing to the dry spell the country is currently experiencing. While the challenges that we are facing as a nation on this regard are significant, the decision to declare a national disaster is a serious matter.
Opposition Socialist Party Secretary General Cosmas Musumali has alleged that the UPND administration is abusing state vehicles in campaigns during by-elections. Addressing the media this afternoon, Dr. Musumali has therefore warned that the Socialist Party will be confiscating such vehicles when spotted during by-elections. He has further appealed to the Electoral Commission of Zambia to ensure that this trend is curtailed. This is connecting to, among others, the recent Kayo ward elections in Mwanza-Wombo district, in which the UPND party won.
But when a government that is failing to deliver developmental issues, and instead they want to show that they are strong, and they do that through by-elections, It simply means that their priorities are not towards the masses. The masses are pawns, the masses are scapegoats, the masses are the ladders on which they climb and then throw away immediately they get into power. They are not sympathetic to the needs, to the demands of the people. That's why they do that. It's a cruel system that we live in.
Meanwhile, Ministry of Information and Media Permanent Secretary Thabo Kawana has refuted the allegations as false.
The government does not go to campaign in any by-election. By-elections are elections held between political parties. So it is the political parties that participate in those by-elections that go to campaign. The government does not campaign and does not participate in elections. Therefore, the assertion that the government is abusing vehicles in those campaigns is folly, unfounded, and far from the truth.
Governance expert and human rights advocate Wesley Mianda notes that in an event the UPND loses its popularity and gets kicked out of power, there is no political party formidable enough to form the next government. Mr. Mianda says due to toxic and what he terms as meaningless politics being done by the current crop of politicians, most Zambians have lost trust and hope because they feel cheated and taken advantage of. The governance expert has expressed concern that the current trend of toxic politics of insults and name-calling has rendered the country's multipartyism and democratic dispensation valueless and irrelevant. Mr. Mianda says the current generation of politicians has turned politics into the means of survival and personal gain with no seriousness and clear vision of changing the status quo of the country.
This alone has really devalued our multipartyism and democracy. And looking at the crop of politicians that we have, they believe in toxic politics, full of insults, name-calling, and put-him-down kind of syndrome, which do not add value to the governance system of this country. Their main purpose is to see that the current government fails, because they seem to be demonizing whatever the current leadership is doing. They are doing it without necessarily providing solutions or options to many challenges, economic challenges, social challenges that people are faced with. Meaning to say they've turned politics into the source, the means of survival.
The Mkushi Immigration Office on 16th February 2024 secured the conviction of a 23-year-old Congolese national, Feli Musongela, for concealing his identity in an attempt to acquire a national registration card, and a 51-year-old Zambian of Mkushi district, Laston Msonda, of aiding the Congolese. Department Public Relations Officer Namati Nshinka explains that the duo was arrested on 6th February 2024 after being intercepted by officers at the Mkushi National Registration Office when they attempted to acquire a national registration card, pretending to be father and son when they were not. Mr. Nshinka says they were each sentenced to pay a fine of 2,000 kwacha or 9 months simple imprisonment. He further says the Immigration Office on 14th February 2024 in Mbala secured the conviction of 19 Ethiopians aged between 20 and 49 who were among 24 Ethiopian nationals nabbed on 5th February 2024 at Vula village for failure to appear before the nearest immigration officer on entry into Zambia.
24, aged between 13 and 18, were handed over to the Department of Social Welfare. Similarly, the Mkushi Immigration Office on 16th February 2024 secured the conviction of a 23-year-old Congolese national, Feli Musongela, for concealing his identity in an attempt to acquire a national registration card, and a 51-year-old Zambian of Mkushi district, Laston Musonda, for aiding the Congolese. The duo was arrested on 16th February 2024 after being intercepted by officers at the Mkushi National Registration Office when they attempted to acquire a national registration card, pretending to be father and son when they were not.
Another story is trending this evening. Chief Government Spokesperson Cornelius Mwetwa said Zambians living abroad must mirror the positive image of the country to the outside world and help attract much-needed foreign direct investment. Opposition Democratic Party leader Judith Kabemba advised the government to apply desperate decisions amid possible looming hunger in the country stirred by the dry spell. Up next, the business news.
5FM Radio Business News. We mean business. Keep you current in commerce, trade, and industry, local and global. It's our business to keep you informed about business.
Agriculture Minister Ruben Tolo has revealed that the country has over 800,000 metric tons of maize, which will last until the next harvest season. Delivering a ministerial statement in Parliament this afternoon, Mr. Mtolo says the concern must therefore be for the period after June 2024. The minister has, however, assured that the government has engaged the farmers to plant early maturing maize, which will see the country producing 150,000 metric tons of maize. Mr. Mtolo has also indicated that government expects good yields in the northern region of the country in the next harvest season, as informed by the weather patterns. He added that government will also return maize earmarked for exports to other countries should the situation permit.
We want to make sure that seed and fertilizer given to the farmer is good. Number 3, Madam Speaker, we want to make sure that mechanization, farm power is enhanced. And in that effect, on Thursday, on the 28th, next week, we are going to launch the mechanization strategy. And as I said, I'll take advantage of this. We are going to give 1 center of excellency in each province. We are going to open up, there will be tractors delivered there with equipment. And then later on, in every district, we are going to give 6 units, mechanization centers. So 6 times 116, we are just 4 short of 700 units in the country.
That ends the business news.
5FM Radio Business News. We mean business. Keep you current in commerce, trade, and industry, local and global. It's our business to keep you informed about business.
And now on foreign news, Guinea's military junta, which seized power in a coup in September 2021, has dissolved the government. The announcement was made through a presidential decree read on state TV on Monday by the presidency's Secretary General, Brigadier General Amara Kamara. Mr. Kamara did not disclose the reason for the dissolution or say when a new government will be put in place. Ministers in the dissolved government were ordered to surrender their passports and official vehicles. Their bank accounts have additionally been frozen. The junta also instructed security agencies to seal all the country's borders until government ministries have been fully handed over to the junta. Here's a roundup from the BBC.
Lawmakers in Ghana are expected later to discuss and pass a bill that prohibits same-sex relations and advocating LGBTQ rights. A programme published on the Parliament's website indicated that proposed amendments would water down some of the harsh jail sentences suggested in the first draft of the bill. The sentences may now be reduced to community service. A court in the Kenyan coastal city of Mombasa has ordered the hospitalisation of a doomsday cult leader and some of his followers after they embarked on a further hunger strike in detention. Paul Mackenzie and 93 others showed up for their bail hearing visibly weak, with several needing wheelchair assistance. The World Health Organization says it has evacuated more than 30 patients, including children, from Gaza's stricken Nasser hospital in its second rescue mission. The territory's second largest hospital in the southern city of Khan Yunis stopped functioning last week after being besieged and then raided by Israeli forces.
And finally, in sports news, the Zambia women's national team has left for Accra ahead of Friday's Paris 2024 Olympic Women Football Tournament, third round, first leg qualifier against Ghana. The Bruce Moape-led technical bench and 19 players left Kenneth Kaunda International Airport in Lusaka for the West African country aboard Ethiopian Airlines at 15:45 hours. The Israel-based duo of Catherine Msonda and Rachel Nachula, as well as Turkey demesaued Helen Chanda and Misozi Zulu, will fly directly to Ghana on Tuesday. The game against the Black Queens will be played at the Accra Sports Stadium at 19 hours, and the return leg will follow 5 days later at the Levi Monawasa Stadium. Another weather report brought to you by Classic Con.
Class Econ Roofing Africa. Class Econ Roofing, plot 17100 off Katanga Road, 150 meters from Mumbwa Road, Chinika Industrial Area, Lusaka. Class Econ Roofing. Class plus economy. Class Econ. Class Econ Roofing Africa. Class Econ.
Significant rainfall is expected to continue over the northern parts of the country, while dry weather conditions continue in most parts of the country. That ends the weather report.
Class Econ Roofing Africa. Class Econ Roofing, plot 17100 off Katanga Road, 150 meters from Mumbwa Road, Chinika Industrial Area, Lusaka. Class Econ Roofing. Class plus economy. Class Econ. Class Econ Roofing Africa. Class Econ.
And that weather item brings us to the end of the news this evening. But before we go, a recap of the top stories. DEC arrests former president's driver and security personnel for trafficking cannabis. Zambia has enough maize stock to last the next harvest season. Guinea's military junta dissolves government and seals borders. For more news, follow us on Facebook, 5FM Radio Zambia. On behalf of the entire news crew and the technical department, thank you for listening to the happy world of 5FM. Stay safe and stay tuned to 5FM Radio. I'm Judith Mwape. Good evening.